What's up, guys? So, something I see a lot of newbie gold makers, and I see discussion all the time. They'll look at something like this tooltip, or they'll look at Oribos.exchange, and they'll be thinking that analyzing the data here, all of the numbers, that's how you figure out whether or not something is profitable. That's a very small part. Most of this, completely pointless. Completely pointless. So yeah, that's my opinion. Of course, some people might disagree, but I think that the situations where you actually like get value out of looking very, very deeply into pricing data is very, very few. And this is coming from someone who has a literal degree in financial analysis. I think this is mostly pointless, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So there's a lot of numbers here. You have stuff like region average, daily sold, region sale rate, which can help you figure out whether or not an item sells. Honestly, the only thing I need from Trade Skill Master is if I'm crafting something, what's the difference between what I'm likely to sell it for and what I paid for the materials. If I'm flipping something, what's a reasonable price source? What's a good value for this item? Is this the market value? Is it the historical value? Then I'll buy when it's very low compared to that, or fairly low, and try to sell it around the expected value. And that's it. Everything else doesn't matter. Everything else doesn't matter. And the reason why this doesn't matter is because the biggest thing, like you can look at price graphs here all you want. This is just a random item. It doesn't really matter what it is. There will be massive changes, and by far the biggest changes ever are mostly caused by patches. And you don't know here what's going to change to make it happen here. You have no idea. You don't know what's coming in a patch 6 months, a year down the line. Blizzard changes stuff all the time. TCG pets, once thought to be the safest investment ever because they're never making more of them. Well, Blizzard have added several TCG pets back to the game, completely cratering the value of them. You just don't know. And this is where the big changes happen. It does mean that if you're looking at something like historical pricing data, it's not going to help you that much because things will have changed. Things will change. You won't see the same dynamics again because it's a different game. Even though there will be similar items filling similar roles, it's going to be a different game. And that's definitely something I've seen over the last 3 expansions. I've tried looking at data from Shadowlands, from Battle for Azeroth to try to figure out how markets are going to look in Dragonflight, and things change. Dragonflight massively changed the entire structure around gold making, and most of the knowledge we had from the past is just useless now. And this happens so rapidly that there's never any like stationary pricing data to actually do any meaningful analysis on. It's all pointless. It's all pointless. It's not absolutely all pointless, but it's mostly all pointless because it's really hard to predict any sort of long-term trends from this data. Now there are some small examples or small niches where this does matter, but for the vast majority of people, particularly those who are just trying to get into gold making, like you don't need to look at this data in detail at all. I never look at it in detail. It's fun to look back. It can be fun to look at, but I don't think it matters much for the type of gold making that the vast majority of players will be doing. If you're K-Chak, then yeah, of course, like he's manipulating prices across all realms for super rare transmog, doing stuff like that. Of course, this matters a lot. You're trying to manipulate the market value. Most people aren't going to be doing that. Most people are going to be trying to look to craft some items for a profit on a single realm, or maybe buy or sell some items on a single realm. They're not going to be doing that. So yeah, I keep it stupidly simple. Stupidly simple. You have the abbreviation keep it simple stupid. I keep it stupidly simple. Players in WoW, what do they want? They want to look cool. They want to be strong. Those are the 2 things they want to do. Anything that makes their character stronger or makes it look cooler, that's going to be something that you can sell. That's going to be something that people want to buy. Now the question, can you get it cheaper than what players are willing to buy for it? Whether that's farming, your time is free, so that's always cheaper. Or maybe you can craft it, because if it's a crafted item, that's the only way to get it. And if the materials are cheaper, usually they are, because crafting requires effort, and most people don't want to put in effort. Or maybe it's a hard to get recipe, so few people can craft it, and there's going to be a bigger profit margin. But anything that makes people look cool be strong, that's going to sell. Big example, you can see it right here. Dracothist. Everyone wants this to get their max item level crafting gear, which everyone wants because it makes their character stronger. Now on the other side, that means that this item is going to sell quickly. Now, then on top of that, this is an item that's crafted, only crafted, and it has a cooldown. You can only craft one per 16 hours per alchemist. You can get a little bit more with multi-craft, but that's the gist of it. What does that mean? It means people can't flood the auction house with this. There's going to be a limited amount available at any point in time, which means that this is almost always going to be profitable. And historically, since it was added, crafting this has been profitable. Try doing the dumb stuff like me and flipping this from week 1, then we don't talk about that. But crafting this and selling it has been very profitable. It's been very profitable since it was added, and this was very obvious before 10.1 launched. This was used in max level crafted item. Everyone wants this. So everyone, tons of crafters worked hard to get this recipe. I did. I've been selling them steadily ever since. And that's what I did. I realized that this was used in the major crafting recipes. And how do you figure that out? Well, you look at Wowhead PTR data. But that's not the only place you go. You go to content creators. Guide writers for specific classes. I follow people on YouTube. I follow people on Twitter. I follow a bunch of like world first raiders and plus players on Twitter. I read the R competitive WoW subreddit, and I'm on a lot of class discords. Why? To figure out what the next powerful item is going to be. What is the item that everyone wants? What's the thing that everyone wants? That's the thing you want to sell. If everyone wants it, then demand is huge. Hopefully demand is going to be higher than the rate people can craft it on, and then you have a winner. So yeah. Now also you need to look at Wowhead, check out PTR news to figure out what's actually coming in the next patch, because you want to know this ahead of time if you can, so you can prepare. So if you wanted to maximize the value of Dracothist, obviously you would have a bunch of alchemists ready to go farm the recipe. They would already have farmed all their knowledge. If you had 10 of those week 1 just ready to go, then you would be making a lot more than if you were like me and just had 2 alchemists. So yeah, figure out what are the new items that are coming, what are the items that are going to be strong, that everyone's going to want to get. Then you want to get those, and then if they're also hard to get in some way, the recipe is hard to get, they're expensive, so there's a lot of materials required, or anything like that that's going to keep your competition low, then that's going to be really, really nice, and that's going to be a absolute like fantastic market. Or if it's something that's relatively easy to get going, you're going to see more competition, but you're still going to see really, really high sales. So like right now, Dracothist is fairly competitive on the region-wide market, region-wide auction house, but it still sells really quickly. Profit margins are lower, but it's still a great item. So that's it. Like, don't look at pricing data, don't look at TSM, don't go digging into graphs on Oribos Exchange. Don't do that. That's not the place to start. Just start by focusing on, does this item make other players look cool? Does it make their characters stronger? Okay, yeah, then try to figure out a way to craft that cheaper, get the materials cheaper, find the recipes, craft those types of items, sell them on the auction house, rinse and repeat. That's yeah. That's what I've made 90 million gold doing. Hopefully soon 100. And it's just, well, that's the meat and potatoes of gold making. Go do that, make some gold, and yeah, we'll see.